my own fear and my own disbelief in myself and my situation. You can have it. Yeah, go ahead. You can have it. You'll love all this stuff. Some of this people skill stuff you'll love. So I wanted to cover some things that throughout my career have really empowered me to change that feeling and then to be more sensitive to people. When you do meet that person, you bring that guest or you have that customer and she doesn't want to try anything, She's like, I'm not trying it and I'm not liking it and I'm not buying it. Or you have that person that comes, and she comes and like, no, it's not for me. And she won't even explore with you. It isn't because it's not for her. Guess what it is?
She's afraid.
She is just afraid at so many levels. All of those things we talked about, even if she can't articulate it, she's either afraid of the growth opportunity that might cause her to be outside her comfort zone. She's afraid she might not be successful. She's afraid of what people will think. She's afraid she doesn't know anyone. She's afraid she doesn't look the part. She's afraid she can't figure it out. I mean, we all have different dynamics, that baggage we bring to the table. And Mary Kay is truly a safe haven, a great training ground to work through that stuff. I don't know very many jobs that want to encourage you to become the very best person that you can be. They want to encourage you to do the very best job that you can do, whatever the job is, but they're not really about you developing and just becoming an enhanced person. Are you with me? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to start with something that I look at every single day. This is a copy of a memo that is actually handwritten by Mary Kay. I think everybody should have something in Mary Kay's handwriting. And as you can tell, it's old. It's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And when I was a brand new director in Los Angeles, anybody that was a brand new director and their senior, Mary Kay was going to fly from Texas to Los Angeles to do an all-day workshop for the new directors. And at the very last minute, she got deathly ill. And she was so sick, she really couldn't get on the plane. And because she really was trying to get there, she didn't have anything else prepared for anyone else because she was really determined to go. She was determined to get on the plane, but she just couldn't. So at the very last minute, she sent her assistant. Some of you have been to seminars. Some of you have been to Mary Kay events. You've heard of a master of ceremonies gentleman that we have now. His name is Sean Key. He's kind of our Jimmy Fallon, He's
so funny.
He's just awesome, and he really kind of MCs lots of company events and does a lot of training. Well, the man at the time that was that job is a man named Dale Alexander, and he was Mary Kay's right hand. He traveled with her everywhere. He introduced her. He made sure she got where she needed to be. He was quite funny and quite the salesperson, and he'd been with the company from the very beginning. So she's like, he had a ticket because they were going together, so she's like, Dale, you got to go, and you got to give these directors, a full day's worth of me, because I can't do it. And can you imagine how disappointed we were, really, when he said, we kept like, where is she? He said, she is not coming. And he said, and you're not going to believe it, this is the note she scribbled out before I hopped on the plane. This is what I'm supposed to talk to you about for 8 hours. And we are just like, but of course, we're all there, and Mary Kay people, we make the best of it. But I tell you, it was such a blessing, and it was the best 8 hours of training, because it was not only things he knew, but it was things he knew she knew. So he came from his perspective as a salesperson, and he was originally a door-to-door book salesman, when he was a very young man, like 19. And he became one of the very best door-to-door book salespeople in the country, winning all kinds of awards. And that's how Mary Kay heard about him, and how he came to work for Mary Kay, because he worked for Dale Carnegie. So anyway, these are things that were important to Mary Kay. And I feel like if they were important to Mary Kay, they should be important to who? Us. And this was training for brand new directors. But I don't think at any level you're ever too new in the business to know what Mary Kay thought was important. You might not ever want to be a director, but you know what? You might want to bring someone into the business who does want to be a director. So I would encourage you to laminate this. Please don't let this get stuck in a file somewhere, put it somewhere you can see it every day, and let it remind you that these are the things Mary Kay thought were important to building a successful business. So the first one says, stress the importance of dreams. And last night it was so beautiful as Remy, our new director, talked about her dream of being able to always be able to buy food and have food and buy a cup of rice, and not have to go without, and how she was so diligent in getting a good education so she could get out of that environment, which brought her to the U.S., which brought her to, Mary Kay. And I remember Mary Kay saying, when our German organization opened. She'd gone there for their first seminar, and it was right after, East and West Germany had the wall come down. So, communist Germany was now part of, East and West Germany were basically one country again. And the Mary Kay ladies there, as they were being crowned queens, said over and over again, first we get freedom, and now we get Mary Kay. And Mary Kay said that the dream was born in their hearts to have so much more than whatever had been available to them in their communist world before. And so Mary Kay said, it doesn't matter what dream it is. It matters that you have a dream, and it matters that you understand that Mary Kay isn't the dream, but Mary Kay is the tool you use to make the dream come true. So it's not just wanting a red jacket. There's nothing wrong with setting a goal to be a red jacket. There's nothing wrong with setting a goal to earn a car. There's nothing wrong with setting a goal to become a director and change careers and have more freedom and flexibility and more financial opportunity. But what do you want the freedom and flexibility or financial opportunity to mean to your life? That's the dream. If the dream is paying for college educations, if the dream is, helping your husband build a sailboat, you're going to sail around the world. If the dream is, becoming golf pros, if the dream is, for instance, I'll share with you one of my dreams, and my husband and I are so excited to be doing this through Mary Kay. We just really have a heart for missions work, and because my husband now has had so much time to do other things besides work, in our Mary Kay world and finances, he's been very involved in African missions, and he with a team of about 3 other men from our church and our pastor, went to Equatorial Guinea, which is a southern coast of Africa property in the jungle. And there are 300 identified unreached people groups in the world today. And that means people that don't have any written down language, and they don't have a Bible in their own language. So if you don't have a written down language, it's all spoken. How could you have a Bible, right? So we identified a group. We committed to this group. We adopted them. We began paying for translators to write their language down. Then began paying for translators to create a Bible in their own language. We have a New Testament now, but then the point was they don't know how to read. Yeah. So we had to build a school to teach some of the people to read. So we've had 5 generations now, 5 school years of children go through, 5 groups of children at all ages that can read and write their own language, which they didn't have before, but now they can read the New Testament. And it's just amazing what's happening. And I don't know what God will do with that, but I know a decade from now, or 2 decades from now, or maybe 100 years from now, maybe that entire country will be populated by people that can read and write and want to change their life, like Remy wanted to change hers. And, and God will be real to them, and Jesus will do great things there through them. So we have been able to pay for the school, pay for the supplies, pay for the teacher, and here's my wonderful husband who's, 6'4" and 250 pounds in a hammock in a mosquito net in the middle of the jungle, sleeping so that he can get up every day and whack out the weeds with the other people and build the school, and we're so excited. This year we are putting working restrooms. These people don't have working restrooms in their homes, but they're going to have working restrooms in their school. I mean, everybody wants to go to school. It's like the most amazing thing. So, that's a dream for me now. That wasn't the dream in the very beginning. The dream was I had more month than money because I had $20,000 of credit card debt. The dream was I got to pay off the $20,000 of credit card debt. And in that first year, I held enough parties to pay off every bit of that debt and save $7,000. And on my way to San Diego Airport, so for my husband to put me on the plane to go to my director training with Mary Kay, we stopped and put $7,000 down and signed the escrow papers for our home. And gosh, it was so powerful to know what could be done. And then as we earned free cars, we took all that money that we didn't have to spend on cars, and we invested it, and we saved it, and we bought property. And so I'm so grateful to have the Mary Kay retirement. But even if I didn't have the Mary Kay retirement, we've been able to create much of our own because that was our dream. So what's your dream? Is your dream to support someone, to help ailing parents, to do something in your community, to fund something at a church, to do some philanthropic work, to, like I said earlier, kind of laughingly, but do some personal augmentation? I mean, sometimes there's something wrong with us, and we feel like if it doesn't get fixed, we can't go forward. Maybe you need to fix something about you that's going to help you go forward and make your dream come true. So please know that when you go with this Mary Kay business, you need to go at it from what's my dream? We talk about it a lot in Mary Kay, what's my why? But it's more than that. It's what do you really want Mary Kay to help you do? Remember that Mary Kay is a tool to help you with that dream. And you know what? Your dreams change. And once you get a dream, and you achieve that, right? We bought the house. Well, then I needed a new dream, right? And the new dream became, I wanted to buy something for my husband, and that became he wanted a Honda Aspencade motorcycle, and then we did that, and then he wanted a restored 40 Ford pickup, and then we did that, and he wanted a $50,000 gold Rolex, and then we did that, and then it was to adopt a baby, and we had to have money for that, and so the dreams just kept coming. So dreams really do come true, really big dreams and really small dreams, and really selfish dreams like, getting your teeth fixed, or really not selfish dreams like, helping the orphans get their teeth fixed. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but the point is, what's your dream? Famous line in the movie, what's your dream? Famous Amos standing on the streets of Hollywood. Everybody's got to have a dream. And Mary Kay knew that. Okay, so the next thing is holding classes. And this is so important. I mean, I feel like every bit of success I has stemmed from holding classes. Mary Kay said everything you want the business to give you will come from holding classes. And your success is directly connected to how close together your classes are. What does that mean? That means it takes 2 parties to get 1 recruit, because it takes 2 parties to see enough people to find somebody that you're talking to, that the timing is right for them to get a new recruit. So if you want 1 recruit and you hold 2 parties pretty close together, you're probably going to find one. That's the formula. But if you hold a party this year and a party next year, are you going to get 2 recruits? No, because that's not the formula. The formula is 2 parties pretty close together. Like 2 in a week would be a really good idea, right? If you want 10 recruits to be a DIQ, how many parties do you need to hold?
20.
You need to hold 20, and you need to hold them how?
Great.
Pretty close together. Could you hold 4 weeks in a row and get there? You absolutely could. I've seen people hold 20 in a week, 20 parties in a week, and become a DIQ. It's possible. It's happened. So just understand that the party is the process. Everything you want from this business comes from booking and holding parties, and booking and holding more parties. The confidence piece, the self-esteem piece, the cash piece, the customers piece, the reorders piece, the potential team members piece, the bookings piece, and other untangibles come from holding parties. You got to understand that when you get really good at loving on people, I'm going to get out of your way just for a minute, and you don't have to follow me, but when you get really good at working the room, that means you are pouring into people. That means, you're saying, how does that look? And did you need that washer? I heated up for you. And can I get you another this? And I, at my parties, always put a big label, a mailing label right here with a black felt pen with everyone's name on it. So across the table, no matter where I was, I could look across and I could see, her name is Debbie, and I could call her by her name, because what's the sweetest word in the English language? Your own name. Your own name. That's exactly right. So when I'm like working the room and I'm behind these people and I'm spoiling them and I'm pampering them and I'm loving them and I'm giving them the very best that Mary Kay gave me, you guys, this is a dynamic that happens at a party. It happens at a skincare class, but guess what? Where it ultimately serves you. When you're team building. Yeah, in your checkbook, because it helps you team build. And the reason that's important, because those skills that you develop in sort of rallying the troops, enrolling people in wanting to try the product and buy the product and faithfully use the product, that enrolling experience that you get, gathering people together and helping them to see the value in the product, is the same skill that you need when you become a director, to enroll people in your dream, to become a unit, to enroll people in your dream, to earn a Cadillac, to enroll people in your dream, to become a national sales director. So those skills, don't underestimate those skills, and don't think that party is just about selling the product and building the customer base. It's about learning personalities. It's about understanding, when I touch someone and she leans into me and she wants what? More. She wants more. Or when I touch her and she pulls away. The next time I'm not going to be so, I might just lightly touch her. I might touch her on the hand. I might not be so close knit with her, learning kind of what makes people feel comfortable. And as people feel more comfortable with you and you learn to identify those things, what happens is they will buy more, they will book more, they will trust you, and they will team build with you. And that skill all comes from holding parties. So please know that the party process grooms you to become a leader. And if you really want to get leadership skills, you need to hold more parties. We think that that's not the place we learn it, but that's exactly the place that we learn it. So more parties, and figure out how many parties do you need close together to get whatever your next step is, whether it's a star team builder or on target for a car, future director, DIQ, that's the formula. Next is selling basics. And a lot in our company, we've gotten away from this. We've gotten so away from this, and it's hurting us. I'll just be really blunt about this. It's hurting our reorder business. There's a recipe. There is a regimen. There is a chemically close-knit marriage of our products. And many of our products can be intertwined. You can mix our botanicals with our Time-Wise, with our Volume Firm, with our Clear Proof, with our Menzyme. They can be woven together because they are chemically designed to do that. But when you mix a Mary Kay cleanser with a Estee Lauder moisturizer, with a Vino sunscreen, with a CoverGirl foundation, you're going to get a divorce. I mean, there's no marriage there. There's no chemical reaction. There's no layering of product benefits. And so what happens is she uses your Mary Kay cleanser and she uses it up, and she doesn't see any big difference by committing to use the Mary Kay cleanser because she's still using it with all these other products. It doesn't make a big difference. So she's like, yeah, that wasn't that big of a deal. I'll go buy the next cleanser and see if the next cleanser from the next company makes a difference. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it's so important that we show sets, that we talk about people purchasing sets together, that we make it convenient and easy, that we have product on hand. Did you have a question?
What was the verbiage you use? Chemical what? Chemical marriage?
I use marriage, but there's so many different things, and I love listening to reading trade publications. Like when you go to the beauty salon or the nail salon, pick up a trade publication. You'll learn a lot of good verbiage. We do have some on our site, but most of what's on our site is really geared more for customers. I'm wanting more education at that sort of cellular level. But for me, I think that word marriage and divorce, people can understand that. If you get too techie with people, then they're like, I don't get it at all. So I just use marriage and divorce because that works for me. So I want you to think about selling sets, and I want you to think about presenting sets, because the eye buys and people buy what they see. So my philosophy about holding parties and selling basics is that every hostess deserves to have $100 in free product as a hostess. And there's a lot of hostess credit programs out there, but standard Mary Kay hostess credit is if she holds the party, she gets 10% of the sales in free product. If she gets one booking, she gets how much? 15% of the sales. This is just the standard kind of golden thread program that we've always had. If she has 2 or more bookings from her party as the hostess, she gets 20%, right? So for her to get $100 in free product or more, how much would the party need to be in sales with 2 bookings? 500. So my mission is always to have a $500 party. We are never not going to be shooting for a $500 party. Not because we want a $500 party, we do, but because first and foremost, I want you, Tammy, to have $100. All my hostesses get $100 in free product eventually. And we'll do that by having around $500 in sales and a couple bookings, maybe more. You're such a great gatherer of people, and you have so many great contacts that we'll probably have way more than that. But I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to let you stop once we get this party going until we get to $100 for you. And here's what that's going to look like. So that might be sending out e-cards to her invite list before to encourage them to take a look online, to purchase in advance if they can't come. But what that really looks like is the sets that you show at the party and keeping the party open. Because if you don't hit the $500 at that party, Mary Kay always, as she built the business before we had the website, kept her parties open for at least a week to encourage the hostesses to have additional sales, to get their hostess credit up, and to give them more rewards by the end of the week. And she talks about in her autobiography how she would sometimes double and triple her party sales by Saturday morning. Anybody that got the extra orders in by Saturday morning got extra gifts and extra rewards from her. So with technology, we can keep the party open for how long until it hits $500 in 2 bookings? How long could you keep it open?
As long as you want it, really.
Until what?
Until you hit $500.
Because we're not going to give up till what? We're not going to stop until
Hostess earns $100.
So, I keep parties open for a month or 2 months. Doesn't make any difference. The party isn't over until what?
The hostess earns $100.
At least. right? And we've gotten $500 in sales and 2 bookings. So what does that look like? Well, you might end up with $300 in sales and 1 booking. So whatever hostess credit she's earned that night, I give it to her. She gets that $45, but still, Tammy, we're $55 short on my goal for you, darling. And so I'm going to send you some fun things through email, some e-cards with commercials about our product and some specials I'm going to be having, and you get to forward those out to your friends and family. And we'll just keep the orders coming in on my website, or you can call me when you get an order. And you keep looking for another friend or someone that would be interested in holding that second party, and we will get you there. And as soon as we do, I'll amp it up and come and deliver your extra $55 in products. So that wish list that you had, we're gonna hit that, okay?
Okay.
And so what this does is it leaves the line of communication open. You don't just stop after a party and then, I got to call her back to see if she wants to come and be my guest at meeting, or I got to follow up with her to, follow up on that team building thing. This forces us to be in communication. It forces me to continue to be communicating with you, right? And what normally happens, and this happens probably 8 out of 10 times, you'll get to the $500 in sales eventually by sending e-cards with commercials that link back to the website. You'll connect those extra sales and those leads of people that either were at the party or weren't at the party. That's got so much value for you because those are new bookings. Those are people you can follow up and sell the mascara to and say, hey, Tammy's working to earn $100 in free product. I'd love to give you the same opportunity. They can turn into other things, but 9 times out of 10 we'll get, or 8 times out of 10 we'll get to the $500 in sales, and we'll still only have the 1 booking. And guess who will decide to go have the second booking? The hostess. And that's so perfect because that's what you really want, because hostesses are gatherers. If she can get 5 people together so you can make 50% as the consultant, do you think she could get 5 people together so she could make 50% as the consultant? Absolutely. They are your prime target. And so now you've had 2 opportunities. I think we make a big mistake in Mary Kay when we recruit people before they're ready. And to me, I want somebody to say to me, so tell me again how this works. I just had 2 parties. We're up to about $1,000 in sales. My friends are loving this stuff. I'm seeing they're buying it on the website. I'm seeing how simple this is. You just basically trained her. You trained her because you did 2 parties and she watched, right? She saw you. So that's the way to bring in strong team members. What I love consultants saying to me is, I want to recruit more strong team members. Erase. You don't really recruit. I mean, you could recruit the most sophisticated person that's had all kinds of glamour and cosmetic training, but that does not make a strong team member. What makes a strong team member is that you modeled for her a strong skincare class, because what did Mary Kay say? Right below dreams, what's the most important thing?
Skincare.
Holding classes. So if you want a strong team member, you've got to show them how to hold a great class. And when a hostess's bar has been raised and she says yes to Mary Kay, and all she saw was a $500 party and 2 bookings, what do you think her bar is? It's high. That's what she thinks it is. That's what she thinks we all do. And what do you think she's going to want to go out and do? She's going to want to go out and reproduce that. That's just her level of excellence. It's like if everybody in your family goes to college, what do you think you're going to do? Well, we all go to college, right? It's the same thing. If none of us go to college, what's the bar?
Low.
None of us go, right? So I want you to think about raising the bar for yourself and your hostess, but really for who? For the new team members you're going to be bringing on. Mary Kay said, let them learn while you earn, which means at any party, you should be going to it with an assistant, somebody going with you to learn and help you and to make the job look fun and easy and to really gain your expertise and your wisdom. But at the very least, if you don't have that, if you are training the hostess and she doesn't even know she's being trained, it's just, she's just being a sponge and she's just observing. You're training her and you're raising up potentially at some point a strong team member. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about the actual physical $500 in sales. I know there's so many ways out there to hold parties, and none of them are right or wrong, but if your goal is to have $100 free for that hostess by having $500 in sales, wouldn't it make sense to work to have the most sales at that party possible? Mm-hmm. So you have this captive audience, right? And they are going to sit there for at least an hour, probably pretty attentive if you play your cards right. Mm-hmm. So I want you to think about going to that party fully equipped. I want you to think about going to that party and giving them, not a little, but giving them the maximum. Because you know what? Women can handle it. Are you kidding me? They are bombarded with magazines and every other page is an ad. They walk into a department store and there's 15 different counters. They go into the drugstore and there's line after line after line. Women are not some weak little, passive things, and they can't handle it if you tell them too much stuff. That's just not true. Women can handle a lot. Are you kidding me? They run businesses and households and churches and communities. Women are smart. And so you have to treat them like they're smart, and you have to give them the very best deal. You have to show them the best that Mary Kay has. So what would it look like? Just what would it look like if you go set up for your party, and here's the mirror and tray, get a visual, and behind the mirror and tray is her own personal $299 pre-packed travel roll-up.
Thank you, Rebecca.
I mean, what would that look like? So 6 women around a table. It's $299. That's $300. 6 around a table. How much is that? 6 times 3?
18.
You have $1,800 of product sitting right there on that table. Hello, we are a traveling store. We are a boutique. We're going to show you what you need, and we're going to give you a chance to take it home with you right there on the spot.
Is it going to be open or just displayed and in the...
Depending on the size of the table, but I usually like to have mine all packaged up, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
And I have pink ribbons or purple ribbons and a big old tag, like a luggage tag. It's just cardstock. It says, "Hello, gorgeous."
Yeah.
But purple is what? Packed with what?
Combination.
And pink is packed with? There you go. Got it?
Basic, not time-wise or volume firm.
No,
Basic.
no.
Okay.
But you can pack some with that just based on if you know you're going to have those women in that age range.
Like Coronado clients.
Yes,
Yeah.
there
Okay.
you go. So you can adjust for that. You can have volume firm in there. And volume firm I do take out of the box, and I do put in the travel roll-up when I do it. But then they get the box delivered to them when they purchase it. But here's the deal. They're all packaged exactly the same. You use the same additional items, and I pack them all the same with the same color of foundation, whatever foundation color you like that you think you sell a lot of, put that in every single one. And then you just have a switch box, and you switch out and you customize, or you add their color. And if you want to go on my site, you can see a sample of a closing sheet with what's in my $3.99 bag. If $3.90 or $2.99 bag, I also have a $3.99, and I have a $4.99. But if it's too rich for your blood, the $2.99, or you don't have that amount of product, then just put $1.99. 6 at $1.99 around a table is still $1,200. And if you can't get your head wrapped around a travel roll-up, at least do a complete miracle set with foundation with the pink tags, because still, that's $100 plus with 6 around a table. That's $600 of product. I mean, at least you're moving in the right direction. I'm telling you that women today, a little squirt of something on their tray and a few tubes that you're displaying is not enough to offset what's happening in their world of cosmetic options. I mean, they see so many beautiful things in commercials and so on, and it's not enough to tantalize them like they deserve to be tantalized, because everybody else is out there working for their cosmetic dollar too. So you've got to have product, and here's why. Because the eye buys, and also because possession is 9/10 of the law. And so here's what's going to happen.
It's in
After you
that's
get her
mine.
skincare on, you're going to have her, whatever set you having out there, you're going to have her reach behind her mirror and tray and take her set and put it in her lap, where she's going to dig inside. If it's the travel roll-up, she opens it up across her lap. You're going to dig inside, and you're going to get the free gifts that your hostess promised you were going to get for coming tonight. So this is how we get attendance. We make sure that everybody that's invited knows, just for coming, she gets a free glamour brush, and she gets a travel size mascara. Now, what is that? The travel size mascara,
$1.
they're samplers.
Yeah,
That's what they
samplers,
are, right?
yeah.
But it's a travel size now, right? And it's a tiny little fun thing. And I'm telling you, women love it, and they kill for it, and they will come for a travel size mascara. Because that is one product, even if you're not a big makeup wearer, almost every woman would like to have a little travel size mascara, right?
And a brush.
And it comes as part of your hostess credit. Are you paying for that? Yes, right? It is definitely, it's your cost of doing business that night or that day. The other piece, I promise, is the glamour brush. You get a professional glamour brush. And I use the $4 retail flat brush. That's for powder that goes in the compact. It's $4 retail, cost you $2. And so they either get their miracle set, and here's what they do. Okay, now put your miracle set, or put your travel roll-up across your lap, and in your second pouch there, tucked deep inside, is your special little gifts. And what do they have to do?
Tear it off.
And some of them are like,
Rip.
and some of them are like, why is that? What's that about?
Because they're afraid if they open it, it's theirs.
That's right, because they subconsciously they know, right? It's like, I don't really know if I want to like this yet, right? So this is right after skincare. You finish with the skincare and pull out your free gifts because you're going to get to use your mascara for your face race or whatever you do with glamour or not. And you're going to get your glamour brush that you get to take home with you. And we're going to use that to apply powder. And we're going to use that to do your cheek color. And we're also going to use that for your to blend your eyeshadow. And you're going to get to take those home with you. So what happens at that moment, you guys, is the magic of Mary Kay marketing. The magic of possession. The magic of, oh, that's not the Mary Kay product. This is what? My Mary Kay product. And it's a huge transition. And so you owe this to the hostess because you promised her what? You're going to work together for what?
$100.
There you go. So you got to do your part, right? You got to do your part. So that's a little dynamic that I feel like if you make that switch right away, and how do you take 6 travel roll-ups with you? Well, if you have a carrying case, I have a black, I take my starter kit in a black $20 collapsible wheeled cart. Exactly, right? And on the telescoping handle, you know how the telescoping handle comes up, you know? Just like it does on a suitcase. I have a bungee cord, and I slide that through my 6 travel roll-ups, and I bungee them right on the handle, and I just roll them right in. And you could do the same thing with miracle sets. Just bungee them right there on the cord, wrap it a couple times. They're kind of chubby, but you just roll it right in. I mean, it's just stupid simple, let me tell you. It is stupid simple, and that's what we have to do. Not because we're salespeople, but because women are giving you their time and their energy and their face, and the hostess has cleared her dining room table and sent her kids out for, pizza, and we owe her that. We owe her a professional demonstration, and I promise you, if you will step that up and teach your team to step that up, you'll break records in Mary Kay. And really, even to this day, that's how I built my business, and I still do it today. In fact, oftentimes in my office, when product comes in, it doesn't even go on the shelf. It just goes right into travel roll-ups, and everything stays in the boxes. Everything stays right in the boxes. Miracle Set in the first pouch, day and night solution, ideal set
the product inside
in the boxes.
in the roll-up bag.
Yes, and it's big and chubby and fun and wonderful, and people are impressed because it's beautiful. And they open that travel roll-up and they go, "Really? You get all this?" And at the end, when you close, just depending on how you close, pull out anything you don't think you'd use and enjoy. Do you know how painful that is? Mm-hmm. No. I mean, right? And then anything they're not going to use and enjoy, they sit in the middle of the table, and then you write up their order. And however, I give them the free travel roll-up bag if it's $200, $199 or more. They get to take the bag home. But that's another class, and I'm short on time here. So, questions about that, comments about that. What do you think with what we talked about so far? How important classes and basics are.
So do you, back in the day we used to say, I don't break the basic.
Right.
Do you say now, I don't break the miracle set in your class?
What I say is customize. We will customize this for you. So I try not to ever say don't anymore. What I've learned is that when you say don't, that automatically makes people feel like, really? Well, why not? But that's what I want. Mm-hmm. So we talk about customizing so that as long as your skincare regimen has the key 5 elements, it might only be in 3 steps. What are the 5 elements? Cleansing, moisturizing, and protecting. Right. As long as we have the 5 elements, we will customize. And you might take this home and try it for a day or 2. And when I call you for your 2-day checkup, we may need to customize that. We may need to switch out, and that's no problem and no cost to you.
And so your roll-up bag, in the first pocket you have, including day and night, or
no, that goes in the
second pocket. And then
but you could break it up depending on whether you're doing a $1.99 or a $2.99. When I'm doing a $4.99, I squeeze it all into that first pocket, which is really tight. But so.
And I've been doing that in my new beginnings training, and then the inventory goes up.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. You're so welcome. And so next we're talking about booking is the lifeblood. So can you see how if you said to your hostess and to the group, I promised Annie that this wish list of things that she loves and she wants tonight is going to be hers for free, if not more than even was on her wish list. And I'd love to make that same offer to all of you, but I do want you to know that anything you purchase tonight is going to go towards her wish list. She's going to get credit for that. And I want you to know that we can do the same thing for you. So it would just be, my honor to give you an opportunity to do the same thing Tammy's doing and have $100 free. And Mary Kay tells us at every party, there's a couple of people that would make great hostesses. And I don't know you all very well, but we'll talk more about that at your private consultation, because I would love to be sure we have at least 2 parties going forward with 2 women that want their $100 free as well. Now that's just a different way to language it. Because somebody sitting there is going, I already don't think I can afford all of this, but if I could get some of it now and 100 free, that's the message you want to send, right? And so Mary Kay would teach us that it is so important, so very important, that you never leave a party without a future party. For years, I had this really skinny, slinky little pink nightie, perfect pink Mary Kay nightie with little spaghetti straps. And if I didn't think the bookings were coming, I would just reach down in my bag and I would go, okay, I promised Tammy $100. And I want 2 of you that want $100 free too. And what would the nightie be doing? And I brought my nightie. I could stay all night. I could sleep on the couch. I could stay all night till we get those. Now that might not work for your personality, but that works for me, right? And you can figure out something that you can say to apply a little bit of extra focus on the party. And here's the thing. It's for who? Who are you doing that for?
A hostess.
You're going to give her the free product long before you ever get a chance to hold those parties and make any money at them. So it's not a selfish thing. It's an unselfish thing. It's really putting the focus where you promise. It's being your word and doing everything you can. But don't just think that you have to take what comes. You can really work for those parties, and that's one way to do that. And then sage Mary Kay script that I will just use until the day I die is her correct booking approach. And you just must memorize it. You must Google it on Mary Kay, or you must go to the search and you must memorize it. But it's a simple and profound set of words that she used in other direct selling companies. And she used it because it gets a response that says no, but the no means yes. And so it works like this. Debbie, I'm so glad you came tonight. Can I ask you something else?
Yes.
In every party, I always try to select just a couple of ladies that I'd most like to have as my future hostesses. And tonight I've selected you. Tell me, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to have a few friends over for a party? I'd love to give you $100 free, just like Tammy, and I think you'd be a really great hostess.
Wow.
Seriously.
Well, and that's the thing, I own those words. Mary Kay said, those are my gift to you. Please take them and make them your own and use them. And I've done that. They're mine. And I would stand in the mirror and I would recite and I would repeat those words until in the other room I would hear my husband say, is there any reason why you can't close that door? Because here's the words. First you ask permission. First you thank them for coming. And then you ask permission. Can I ask you something else? And you're nodding and you're smiling and you're taking both of your eyes and you're looking in her right eye. And the reason is that the right side of the brain, the right side of the face controls the left side of the brain. The left side of the brain is the part that says, I can't afford this, I don't have time, my husband will kill me, I don't know how much is left in my checkbook, all those things that say, that's for these pretty ladies, that's not for me, or that's for these ladies that go to work every day and wear that makeup, or that's for these ladies that are trying to get a man, or, it's all those things in our brain that we reject something that could be positive for us. So when you take both of your eyes and you look in her right eye, the way you know it's working and you're doing it right is because she'll be right there with you. And you'll get a response like, wow. Or you'll get a response like, no. And so listen to it again. Can I ask you something? Or can I ask you something else? At every class, I always try to select a couple of ladies that I'd really most like to have as my future hostesses. And tonight, Debbie, I've selected you. So tell me, is there any reason why you really wouldn't want to have a few friends over for a party? I'd love to give you $100 like I'm going to give Tammy, and I think you'd be a really great hostess.
Oh, nice.
So when you say, tell me, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to have a few friends over? I think you'd be a really great hostess. She says no, and in her head she may be a little confused, and she may mean, no, I don't think I want to, or no, I'm not sure. But is there any reason why? And she says, no. What does the no mean?
No, there isn't any reason why.
There's no reason. And by the time that kind of all happens, you've given her a couple more nice compliments. She's thinking, you're telling her you think she'd be great. She's going to get 100 free. She's like, they'll say no with their head nodding up and down. But really, no is this way, right? So they're going, no. So they're in the mix with you. And, and somebody said to me one time, well, that's just pure manipulation. And honestly, it's not. It's really helping people move towards something that would be great for them. And if they really, really, really don't want to do it, they'll be like, no, that's not what I meant. Not really for me. I mean, they will tell you. And so you don't have to worry about that. But the numbers are, if you will use that script in some powerful, consistent fashion, 50% of the time you're going to get a booking. That means every other person you say it to, you're going to get a booking. So if you've got 6 people around the table and you say it to 4, what is that? That's 2. And you may have somebody else that, is ready to book and you don't even have to go there. But you have to have a tool that allows you to be in full control of the future of your business. And you have to be able to use that. And once you master that script, you can use it anywhere. You can be in the grocery store and you can meet Debbie in the grocery store and she's working behind the counter and you can say to her, Debbie, you've been so great today. Can I ask you something else? I don't know if you noticed, but I'm with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and every week I'm always looking for women I'd love to have as future hostesses. You know what? Today I've selected you. Tell me, is there any reason why you wouldn't want to have a few friends over for a Mary Kay makeover? I just love to give you $100 in free products, and I think you'd be a really great hostess. I mean, the script works the same, and you can use it at the ball field, you can use it at the grocery store, the post office. It doesn't have to just be somebody that you've just met. It works the best here because these people have already warmed up to you. They've already gotten their free brush and their free mascara. They're in the process of making a large or a small purchase decision. Right? You with me?
Yeah.
So these intricate pieces, of holding the parties and making the party a great party with high sales and really getting much for the hostess and really training the hostess up and then booking from bookings. You guys, this is the Mary Kay wheel of life. This is the circle of Mary Kay life. And if you can get this and you can week in and week out operate this wheel, you'll have everything you want from Mary Kay. And you'll have everything you want for whatever that dream is. Does that make sense? Okay, last piece on there is